Friends, family, we're here. Alright, so real quick, just getting this stuff out of the way. Suspended, limited, restricted, nothing. Nothing. Banned. 3 cards. Gloom Oligarch stayed on the list. No surprise. Quorum War Room, gone. We'll talk about why once we get through the list. Playful Imp, gone. Now that's actually kind of controversial to me because there's supposed to be a full art Playful Imp coming out as a champion stamp that no one was able to actually get because I think the event didn't happen. But now that's still going to come out, but the card's not legal, so that's kind of weird. Notably, Sylphia, Spirit of Air, not here. So, let's real quick read what they have to say. They have their own stuff on it. We'll go through that. July 1st, 2020, ban restricted list update. After multiple online tournaments hosted by Kalen Nelson on the online local, and a lot of work internally from the team, we have come to a decision to update the ban restricted limited list. Effective immediately, Sylphia Spirit of Air will be unbanned and removed from this list. Sylphia was originally banned beginning with Set to Revelations due to the lack of cards that could stop a game from becoming dominated by Sylphia. This led to a very poor gameplay experience for players, and at the time we decided to remove the card from the card pool to remove the overall game experience for players. So, that, this here is basically what we were told recently, is that the card was too oppressive for newer players, and in general it made the gameplay experience with Sylphia unfun. A lot of decks were splashing air as their spirit just so they could have access to Sylphia, and it became especially dominant when you could get it back. When your champion was Aragon and your spirit was Kite, and you could just put Sylphia back on top of your deck over and over and over again. That got alleviated a little bit by Bone Scavenger, but not really enough, and ultimately Sylphia was just oppressive. However, the online local has run a few online tournaments with Sylphia being unbanned, which provided the team with some additional data. Combined with the work we have been doing in-house to test if Sylphia is healthy in the current card pool, we have decided to unban Sylphia Spirit of Air. I'm excited for this. I started playing the game with the Air intro deck. I currently play Ariana Kite as my in-paper deck. That's the deck that I've made pretty, and I have it foiled out and max rarity and everything, and so being able to slot in Sylphia Spirit of Air into that, mwah, perfect. Brilliant. I'm happy with this. I know some people will initially, like, knee-jerk reaction, be unhappy with this, but, you know, we have done some tournaments with it in the online local. It didn't really impact a lot. We'll see how it goes forward. Maybe it is still a problem, and maybe they can just adjust this, but for now, let's give her the room she needs to breathe. So, beyond Sylphia, new cards. Because of the cooperation and all the hard work from Kalen Nelson, we were able to track deck lists from each event, watch usage, and a win percentage of specific cards, and can better identify which cards may be causing poor game experience for players. So for that reason, we are banning both Playful Imp and Quorum War Room. Interesting here. So a lot of people, I think, jump at Playful Imp as being the worst card. I personally have a background in Magic the Gathering, where we see cards like Thoughtseize, Duress, Inquisition of Kozilek, Hymn to Turak, all these kind of cards that take cards out of your hand, and it's just kind of expected at that point, you know? It's expected that if you're trying to play some kind of a combo deck that needs really specific pieces, that if it can't survive 1 or 2 hand attack spells, that it's just not going to work. You know, here, with a newer game, I can see why that kind of card would be more of an issue. We already have that kind of effect in the Darkness Tower, but getting that effect on a body is just even stronger, I guess, you know? So here we go. Playful Imp is a card that is easily abused by cards such as Omega Magic Yami and Revival of the Sun. Combined with Spirit of Serpio, players can often find their hand disrupted, losing all the cards they want to play on their turn. Playful Imp also stops combo cards from being effective. During the Online Saga Showcase, 80% of decks played at least 2 Playful Imp. 7 of the top 8 decks contained Imp, and it was the 3rd most played main deck card. This is also a very high rate since it is not an Argent card. They did want to accommodate, yeah, I will throw that in there. So many decks are Dark right now. Dark was the color to be in. That might change, seeing Playful Imp gone. We still have Yami, we still have Revival. You know, it still has cards it needs. It just lost one of the new tools that it gained. We'll see how much that affects it. Serpio accounted for 66.67% of all spirits and had a majority of the win share. So, Imp gone. Interesting. We'll see what that does. I know every Dark deck was playing Imp, even if you weren't playing Serpio. We had some Hoenna Tux, Hoenna Sola, basically Hoenna X lists that were 2 elements, and they were still playing Imp, because they could still like play Treat to send a Liu to their discard, and then Liu sacrifice Imp would still work, and it's just a very powerful card in general. The ability's gravy. Everyone likes their 1-drop 1,000 units. And then, so, yeah. We'll see how it works with that being gone. I'm excited to see where the metagame goes with that. We actually have an event starting tomorrow with this new ban list in effect, so people have 1 day to deck build. I'm excited to be playing one of my favorite decks with Sylphia now, so. But before we get to that, let's keep going here. Quorum War Room is able to create so much advantage for only a cost of 2. The ability to play multiple Quorum War Room and create an exponential advantage becomes too much for any deck to handle. The versatility of the gears like Shining Shard Dagger, Caliber the Sacred Sword, and even Longinus Mythical Shard Lance, compounded with the consistency of Liam, proves to be too much for many decks to handle. During the Online Saga Showcase, Liam had a usage percentage of 38%. Only 3 Liam decks made top 8, but ended up knocking all of the other champions out of top cut, finishing 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place. So, at first glance, some people would say, well, then Liam's a problem, but I don't think Liam's really a problem, especially, honestly, when you look at the fact that if you get rid of Liam, the other option is Aron, and I don't know that anyone wants that to be the world where Aron is the only light champion. I don't really want to ban a champion, because we only have 2 for each color right now, aside from Argent where we have 4. And limiting an element to 1 champion, especially when we had 2 champions basically from the beginning, like the instant the intro decks came out and then set 1 came out, we already had the other 5 champions. Now that we're going on set 3, I don't want to cut down to 1 champion for an element. So Liam is fine. He's strong. Don't get me wrong. He's very powerful, but he's fine. He shouldn't die for the sins of other cards in the element, Some people say that Quorum War Room is what makes the deck work. I think it makes the deck work too well, in my personal opinion. That's my problem with it. It's the recursion, it's the consistency. Liam is already defined by his consistency. Just for playing the game, just for attacking their towers, he gets to go find any gear he wants. He can find Shard Daggers easily, he can go find a Caliber if your opponent is playing something and you need to play around it. You can go find Longinus for the removal, which is always helpful, All in all, War Room being gone, Liam was kind of the only deck playing War Room. I don't know if Aron plays War Room, because Aron still wants to play Gears, of course. Aron might still be using the same basic strategy, just not as fast. And so maybe that hurts that as well. We'll see how Light as a main color does after this. It's still going to be a strong splash for those that choose to splash it, but we'll see if the gear decks still exist. We'll see if Repro is still as much of a powerhouse if we don't have Quorum War Room to put Shard Dagger on him. Time will tell. And then finally here, as with every card, these 2 cards are not subject to stay on the ban-restricted limited list permanently. When evaluating the list, the team spends individual time on each card in addition to looking at the list as a whole. Our goal with the list is to provide players a healthy card pool to play Argent Saga. The next update to the ban-restricted limited list is undetermined, as we are continuously reviewing the current card pool. Outside of emergencies, we will provide players with a message about an upcoming ban list before it is published. The data list will take effect is dependent on the events and releases scheduled, but will be clear when the initial announcement is made. So when this was told to us a little while ago, they did tell us that it would be happening July 1st and that it would go into effect immediately. We heard about this, I think, officially probably about a week ago, but there'd been talk of it for at least a month now. We just didn't have a date in mind. So, yeah. What do we think? Sylphia's back. War Room and Imp are gone. Some people are going to cry foul that Liam didn't deserve this, and other people will say, thank God, now other decks can exist. I don't really know exactly where I weigh in yet. I'm just happy Sylphia's back so I can go play my mono air deck and not feel like a complete outcast. I'm probably still a complete outcast, but that's the ban restricted list update for July 1st. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know what you think down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one.